Hello everyone, I am Valentina Cirasola, the host of Valentina Design Universe show. In these series of shows, we will encounter with people who live outside the box, who live in a creative way, or live inspiring others with the arts that they do. We will we'll converse today with a photographer, a woman photographer who does beautiful work. And her name is Susie McFadden. Welcome to the show, Susie.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm really well. This is exciting.
This is
Thank
very
you.
exciting. Every
Thank you.
show, it's really, really exciting.
Yes.
So I want to know a little bit about you. How did you get inspired by becoming a photographer?
It's actually really simple. I have a couple of nephews, and when they got to be about 2 or 3 years old, they became too fast for my point and shoot. And I would just get all these pictures of their ears or their chins and the backs of their heads. And I went to my husband and said, I need a faster camera. And that started the whole thing. I went away on a weekend with a bunch of other women to learn how to use our DSLR cameras. And from then, it just kind of, that started it. Started photographing my nephews, and then started photographing my pets, and then just kept evolving until I just create for the joy of it.
Do you do digital photography, or you use the traditional way of doing photography, developing films and...
I am all digital. Yeah. I never had a film experience. I know a lot of photographers today, even those who work in digital today, come from a darkroom experience. I did not have that experience. I did take film photos, but I would take them to the local drugstore and got my double prints for free. And but I never actually developed my own. Mm-hmm. So I'm all digital. It's all since the advent of digital photography.
Well, it seems like everybody's going that way these days.
Absolutely.
It basically saves on the cost of the films and having a dark room, but there's still people doing it, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I regret a little bit not having had that experience to at least draw on. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it would have been kind of up my alley. I never did it, and just came to it now with all of the software tools as opposed to the darkroom tools.
So you always shoot in the studio, or you have shooting in the field, or?
I do both. For a long time, I did outdoor photography because why wouldn't you? We live in a gorgeous part of the world. Who wouldn't want to be out there and getting some of the sights?
Yeah.
As I've evolved as a photographer, I moved most of my work into the studio. I will admit to being a control freak. I like controlling everything about the shoot, the light, especially, and when you're shooting outdoors, you don't have as much control over that.
Exactly.
So I do the bulk of my work
in the
studio.
And
Absolutely.
you have, when people come to you, do you have costumes that you put them on them, or they bring their own clothes, or how does the shooting evolve?
All of the above.
Yeah.
So before we even have our session together, I'm on a Zoom or on a phone call with my client, my model, my subject, to talk about what we want the session to be. And in some cases, that person will have their own style that they want to photograph. In some cases, we'll develop a theme, a concept together. I also have a studio wardrobe that I have available to folks who want to play. So even if somebody is coming in for a brand photo or a headshot photo or something more formal or business-like, I'll, at the end of the session, say, the time is yours. You want to play? Want to try this on? Let's play with this and see what they want to do.
That's fun.
Yeah, so I've been building my studio wardrobe for a number of years. And
where do you think your props, let's say, from vintage stores or theatrical dismissal of costumes?
All of the above. There's a number of kind of designers I've become familiar with based on other photographers recommending them or people I see online, all the way to Goodwill and Savers and going somewhere to find something that just would be quirky and fun in a photo session.
Of course.
The lovely thing about a photo session is you can you can pretend, right? Somebody's beautiful, gorgeous, form-fitting dress can be pinned in the back.
Oh, yes,
Because
absolutely.
it isn't quite the right size. And you
Yeah,
don't see
yeah,
that
yeah,
in the photograph.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we have a lot more wiggle room rather than having to be on the red carpet and have everything from every angle be perfect. So we can do a little magic with photography.
Yeah.
That way.
And then you use, for the background, if you, let's say you want to add clouds and you use Photoshop or
I used so many different
things,
software
yeah.
applications to do things. I don't tend to add a lot of elements to my photos. I have multiple colored backdrops. I have canvas backdrops. I actually have some backdrops with prints on them.
Yeah.
And if I do add elements to my photos, they tend to be elements that I've created, as opposed to using AI or things like that to fill
Right,
things
right.
in, unless a customer has a very specific requirement that they would like to do.
And
with
is that
Kindle.
because you are a minimalist or just because you like more the focus on the person than the background?
I wouldn't say it's because I'm a minimalist. I would say more that I want the pieces that I create to be mine. So if I have something that I can composite together, something I've already taken one of my other images, I am happy to bring that in.
Right.
I love that. I do often feel that portraits speak for themselves. You want the focus to be on the person. I shouldn't say you. I want the focus to be on the person. I am a portrait photographer more than a conceptual photographer that way.
So how do you extract the soul of a person? You know why I ask you this? Because sometimes on National Geographic I see these pictures of animals that the photographer has been able to extract the soul from the eyes of the animal. And you see this beautiful photos like the animals is speaking to you. How do you do that? How do you extract the personality? I wouldn't even say the soul, but the personality of a person.
That's a great question. So much of what I do is about connection. It's connection with the person I'm working with. So I never have somebody just come in and it's like, "Hi, I'm Suze. I'm glad you're here. Please step in front of the camera."
Oh, yeah.
It would never work. So we
Yeah.
meet beforehand. I offer professional hair and makeup to my clients as part of their portrait session.
And you do it yourself?
I do not. I actually bring in Michelle Montes, who was your
Okay.
guest on
Oh,
your
yes.
show
Oh, yeah,
already.
yes, yes.
And Michelle will do their makeup and we'll all talk to each other. We'll get that time
Oh, yeah.
to get to know each other before the camera even comes out.
Exactly.
Right? So we have that opportunity to really know who we are and what we're about. And then the camera comes out, and at that point I know what they're trying to capture, what they're trying to create, a little bit more about who they are. They know who I am. And we just go from there. And then, of course, so much of it is about the eyes,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. So some women, I'm sure you have men and women, right? But I think women are more a little bit of fussy people. They want to look perfect, and they might think they're not photogenic. So what do you say to a person that is not so sure how her look is going to come out?
I am a big proponent that people need to get in the photo. And this is especially true for women, especially true for moms. Moms are never in the picture. They're always the ones taking the picture or whatever. And there's always an excuse. I need to get my hair cut. I need to dye my roots. I need to take off weight. And all of the things that we beat ourselves up about. And the reality is we are all amazing in our own skin. And it is my job to make somebody feel comfortable in front of the camera. It is my job to pose someone so that they feel lovely.
Yeah.
And again, with the full experience with hair and makeup beforehand. And I actually also offer folks a 1-hour consult with a stylist to figure out what to wear for the session if they want it. And so they're feeling good before the camera even comes out, as I've said.
Yeah.
And I understand what it feels like personally to not feel photogenic, to not want to be in a photo. And I will say that I went and got my photos taken by a mentor, and it kind of changed my perspective on the whole thing. Just feeling like my best self during this photo session was so engaging and just so empowering that I wish that for everybody.
So I see some of your models or your people you worked for, they have some specific poses.
Yes.
Yeah, like you tell them how to pose, or it comes natural to them.
It depends on the subject. So
Yeah.
I do work with professional models, and those models know their bodies. They know they have that comfort level. They know how to pose.
Yeah.
And they do what we call flow posing, which is they're just constantly moving, and we're capturing those. A lot of my clients, they don't have that. What do I do with my arms? What do I do with, where do I
Right.
look? How do I
Right.
stand? And then we do a lot of posing with them of here are the poses that will accentuate different things and will make you feel like $1,000,000, you know.
So you basically tell them to pose this way, that way, or
Right. So we do what is called mirroring. I will try and be right in front of them at the same level. So if they're sitting, I'm sitting. If they're standing, I'm standing. And I'll tell them to mirror me, and I'll try and do the pose.
yeah.
So do this, you know, move your face this way.
Okay.
You know, like different things, and you know, chin down, micro movements, all of those things, and
Nice.
and we'll kind of move together, and until they get comfortable. A lot of times, I'll start people sitting or start them behind a posing table because people feel really exposed standing alone by themselves in front of a camera, and so we start with the more comfortable poses first, and then get a little bit more
Yeah.
elaborate.
So usually to do all of this practice and doing it, how long does it take?
A long,
A long time, many hours, right?
Many hours. I mean, it is like any other skill where you are trying to become an expert, where you are trying to become a master of your field. It takes time. It takes education. I have done workshops. I've done online learning. I have done practice shoots. I have done everything, and continually, and I'm still learning.
Yeah,
Right? It's a never-ending
absolutely. Yeah.
to be the artist that I want to be. And it's, you know, the photo session itself is just a small part of it. There's a lot of time. I love to retouch. A lot of photographers outsource their retouching. I am not one of them. I love the process of retouching. So that also is a number of hours.
That is amazing, because every artist always try to improve on what they did before and many years before. So when you look at your artwork, would you say today, oh my God, what did I do then?
I question some of my choices, to be sure. I try not to judge myself. I was learning. I will say that the photos I'm taking today are better than the photos I was taking when I started, hands down.
Yeah.
And I assume that even the photos I love today, 5 years from now, I'm going to look back going, you know, wow.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. That's why we grow. That's what we're aiming for. We want to
Exactly.
change. We want to evolve. And photography has so many opportunities for that, right? There's no such thing as
Yeah.
a single style of portraiture.
Okay.
So I can explore different ways. I can do black and white. I can do color. I can do different things, and
Right.
just continually grow. So absolutely.
So now at this point, I will want to show some of your work.
Oh,
and I will
fantastic.
ask the director to roll the photos, please. So we have the first one here.
Yes.
What can you say about this woman? You can't really tell the face, but I can tell she is also by the colors of her hair. She's very passionate.
Yes. Yes.
So what can you tell? Why did you choose this shot?
I love the motion of the hair blowing. This is one of my favorite models to work with. Her name is Laura Neumeyers. I will give her a plug. She is a professional model, and she's lovely as a person and as a model. And she was just doing so much. And we had the fan going to blow her hair, and she was shaking her hair, and all of this motion. And, you know, this is just the motion of time, right? This took like that.
Yeah.
And to me, just the motion that the hair is going through just kind of adds it makes the photo more alive to me.
Yes, it is
So.
very alive. Let's see the next photo, director. Here we go.
Yes,
Yes.
and
What can you tell me about this photo?
This is a model, again, by the name of Amin Simone. And she and I have worked together a number of times as well. And she is just, again, lovely and a dancer, so she can move. You know, you were asking who's comfortable in their bodies, who's not. And we had a lot of fun with this, and we had a number of different looks throughout the session. And this was one of them, and you know, we had done a number of different ones. And I just absolutely love the way that she's just staring into the camera and really just kind of focused on.
Her eyes are very deep.
Yes.
It looks like she's looking at us
Yes.
right this moment. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next photo. Oh, I love this
Oh,
one.
yes.
Is she an actress?
She is an actress, a dancer, a model.
Okay.
Her model name is Yuli Moonshine. She is absolutely lovely. That is actually a robe and turban that are in my wardrobe that I try and get everybody to try and play.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun with this. I've done a number of sessions with Yulia, and we've also done some very dramatic, very heavy sessions, and where we really had a story to tell that really took a lot out of both of us. So it was fun to kind of pull out some of the costumes that were more whimsical and playful, and she saw that robe and just went right into it. And it feels very Erte-esque to me.
Yes.
Which I just love. And I want to be the person that could wear that robe in real life and have this be just my glamour. But
It feels more like a 1920s, 30s feeling. That's the way I see it. Yes, absolutely. It's very glamorous and very artistic. This one is, I bet it was done for business.
no. Oh, this one. I'm sorry. The photo change.
Yeah.
Yes, this is very representative of my brand work. As many people probably know, the days of just having a single headshot are behind us, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just from the shoulders up,
Right.
and you have that picture in one place, and that's all you need.
Exactly.
Now people have blogs, they have websites, they have social media, they have they have different kinds of social media, right? They're personal social media, they're professional, and so I work with clients to create a series of photos that fit their brand and fit their business that they can use all over the place. So, and then this is somebody I knew. She is a professional organizer,
Right.
does wonderful,
Okay.
wonderful work, and this was her brand session.
Next photos. Oh, I love this.
Yes, this is the same model actually that was in the previous photo. Different wig, different styling, and it's a black and white. So as you can see, sometimes I'll see an image and just say, "There's something more dramatic about this without the color." And sometimes
And the black and white photographs are very effective, sometimes
Yes.
often more than a color.
Yes.
If this was done in colors, it probably wouldn't have been so, not only effective, but also emotional. What does she have? The finger painted silver.
Yes. So
Is there a
actually,
reason?
if it were in color, you would see that her eyes are in gold, her fingertips are in gold. So it was a lot of body painting involved in this photo. But even so, even with the gold, I decided that, you know what, I like the black and white. And sometimes I'll take a photo intentionally, saying, I know this photo is going to be a black and white.
Exactly.
And sometimes I'll see it afterwards, saying, let's see. Let's put it in black and white and see how we like it. And that's what I did with this one. I went, oh.
It's beautiful. I
it.
love
Yes,
this
thank
picture.
you.
And she a model again?
Yes,
Yeah, she
yes.
is. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Thank you.
And this one?
This is another with the hair. I love things that move, whether it's people's hair. I don't have enough hair to make myself do it. Whether it's hair blowing, a lot of fabric tossing.
Yes.
A lot of different things just to get that motion. And we had done a series of photographs for her. And at some point I just said, just shake your head. Just do it. And I had my camera on high speed.
Yes.
And she just threw it and it went right across her face like that. And I went, you know, I love this photo. And she said, yeah, I do too, but I don't know how I'd use it. Or I'm like, that's okay. It doesn't have to have a use. You can appreciate just how just lovely it is, even without having it.
It's a moment in time. It just shows that in that moment she was relaxing and let the
Yes.
wind go through her hair and nothing else matters.
Yes, and you'll notice she's wearing textures, which are
Yeah.
also very lovely in
Yes.
photos. So she's wearing the very furry sweater,
Yes.
the very shiny pants, and the motion of her hair. It all kind of
Yeah.
adds up to a very layered and textured image.
Yes, yeah. Do we have any more pictures? Oh, yes, we do.
That's Yuli again. And again, I'm a big fan of monochromatic images. So not black and white, but black on black, brown on brown, blue on blue.
Yes.
And we had a lot of fun. As I mentioned earlier, Yuli's a dancer, and so this was a very Fosse-esque look and posing, and we had a lot of fun with that.
It looks very clubby.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Like a singer in a club and piano bar and yeah.
Yes.
Any more pictures? No, that's
That's
it.
it.
So, beautiful work.
Thank
I
you
love
very
it. I
much.
love it. So, being in the studio or being outside in the field is, which do you like the best? To shoot in the studio?
Studio.
Or
Absolutely. It lets me control the light and play with the light. Like, I will have 2 lights set up. I'll be doing a particular pose, and I'll say, "Oh, wait, what happens if I turn this light off
Yeah,
and keep this light on?
right.
Or what happens if we focus this light, diffuse that light?" And so it's a lot more control, and we can do a lot more, or I can do a lot more dramatic kinds of images that way.
So in the field, if you do shoot something, what would it be? Just nature?
I am not very good with nature photos. Some people can take a picture of a plant or a tree and it's art and it speaks.
Yes.
I take a picture of a plant and a tree and you would look at it and say, yep, it's a tree.
It's a tree.
Not very exciting at all. So that's not my jam. I do people. I'll do people outdoors. I do a lot of senior portraits, for example, tend to be more outdoors.
Yeah.
But I prefer to bring them into the studio. And I'll take photos if I'm out and about, but I'm really not very, that's not my
Yeah.
my area of expertise.
I like photographs in chiaroscuro. I like that very much.
Yes.
The effect of, like almost enigmatic effect of the chiaroscuro. You know, I like that very much.
I love creating that in studio, and I have not mastered it out in the wild. So, yes.
I do nature, like still nature, and
lovely.
in chiaroscuro. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So, so to be a successful photographer, what does it take? What is the characteristic of a successful photographer?
It's a difficult question because it depends on how you define successful.
Yeah.
Some people define successful as making a good living or making a really good living, right? Everybody's criteria for what that means. Some people say that it's all about the art. It's about awards and competitions and recognition. I say it's about the joy. For me, I'm successful at what I do if I love the images I've created and my subjects love the images I've created.
Yeah.
If everybody leaves happy, I'm a success.
Absolutely.
And to me, that's the most important part. And I will say, working with clients, and sometimes they will choose photos that would not have been my top choice, right? And I'm like, but what about this? I love this one. Why aren't you choosing? But that's not what it's about. It's about making sure that my clients see themselves and love themselves and choose the
And I'm
images
sure
work for
that
them.
after they have done the photo shooting with you, they see themselves in a different way as well. Don't you think? They see
certainly-
themselves like,
yes.
wow, this is me?
That is certainly my goal. I know that I've gotten some very, very kind words from clients to that end. And I also know how I felt after I had my photo session with a professional photographer and how I used those photos and how those photos made me feel and all of those things, and say, if I can do that for my clients, I've done something right.
That's great. But in an artistic profession, it is exactly about the feeling that you can project on others, the well-being that you can project on others, or what is the outcome or how people feel when they see your work. And plus your own satisfaction of putting out something beautiful, you know, because being an artistic profession, I think the goal of every one of us who is artistic is to bring beauty to the world.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love creating these images, and just doing, speaking from an artistic perspective, if I may, I currently have a gallery show with some of my images in it, and
Yes.
I've partnered with an abstract photographer.
Okay.
And he does intentional camera motion and abstract, and his work is beautiful. But we've paired specific abstracts with specific portraits,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's not just about the portrait, it's a story, it's art, it's that sort of thing. So constantly expanding what that artistic expression is just really,
Exactly.
really lovely.
So one short, brief comment about where is photography going with all these technical and digital systems. Where do you think is going?
Oh, that is a huge conversation for people much more out there than I. I will say this: there are a lot of, artificial AI, artificial intelligence are doing things, but what they're not giving is the experience. And so, to me, photography, especially portrait photography, that's an experience. You want to
Yes.
come in, you want to feel beautiful, you want to go through the whole experience of having your portrait
Yeah.
taken, which is very different than uploading a photo and having it beautified for you.
Exactly.
And that's why I try to make all of my studio sessions more of an experience than an outcome.
Yes.
And of course, you get the outcome, which is lovely. It's always going to be evolving. When cameras first came out, it was going to be the destruction of art,
Yes.
right? So things evolve. I
Evolve.
am slow to embrace some of these newer artificial technologies.
But you still put your soul into it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So we are at the end of our show. Unfortunately, it goes just
Very
so
quickly.
fast.
Yes.
And I just want to thank you for being
Thank
here
you.
and make us part of your world. And I want to thank the crew for being here and help out with the show. As usual, we've been very great. And until next time, as I always say, mwah, peace and love to everyone.